mainstream media platform. The EU's freaking out. What is your take about this possible peace deal?
Well, gosh, a lot of different things we can say about it, right, Jabari? One,
Right.
first of all, we should make it clear that according to CNN, a corporate mainstream legacy traditional media, right, that has been selling this war nonstop for 3 years now, 78% of Americans support the peace negotiations. So 4 out of 5 Americans, in spite of all the efforts of the mainstream media for the last 3 years, are in agreement with this peace process, right? I mean, so you had on CNN when I was watching it, you had these 2 journalists who were going over this 78% number, who were just contorting themselves, in trying to explain and rationalize it and excuse it, and just make their viewers think that 78% really doesn't mean 78%. Or that this, I mean, like, so, the shock, I think, to the corporate media at the receptiveness of the American public to a peace process, something that goes far beyond Trump's base. I mean, you can't just 78%, 4 out of 5 Americans. That doesn't mean it's just all Republicans that are fully in favor of this.
Exactly.
No, there are, sure, you can have a high percent, but to get to 78% of Americans, meaning you also have to have at least a minimum, a majority of Democrats, and probably a super majority, 60% of independents at least, to get to 70%. And now, even that, you need more than that to get to 78%. So, I mean, the reception by the American public for this, and the opportunities that a peace agreement with Russia could bring, not limited to just Ukraine and Europe, is substantial. And I think this is what Trump is looking for. I think Trump really wants to have some type of grand deal. I mean, he has said this. He wants to have some grand bargain. He said this last week. He wants to talk to not just Vladimir Putin, but Xi Jinping about cutting nuclear weapons, right? Getting rid of nuclear weapons, about cutting their defense budgets in half. I mean, so this can have very real implications in terms of reordering the globe. I think it could possibly have, and you might see things such as part of this, American missiles come out of Poland and Romania. That's something the Russians certainly would want to see. It's one of their chief grievances, right?
Right.
So, but there are also a lot of dangers with this. The fact that you have Europeans, many Europeans denouncing this, as well as Americans, of course. But
they're freaking out.
Right. And what does that mean then? Like, there's 2 ways, I think, to look at it. One is the Europeans can look at this and say, here's our opportunity for independence from the American empire. We can cleave ourselves from this declining, dying empire, right? And in this new multilateral world that is here already, it's not coming, it's here already. But in this nascent new world order, we can be an independent power removed from the American empire, right? So you're also distancing yourself from a collapsing empire, which I think everyone agrees that's probably a pretty good idea. That's one way it could happen. Or the Europeans could see that there's danger with that. It's a sub danger with that is that the Europeans say the vehicle through which we are going to do that is the Ukraine war. So that we're going to declare independence from the American empire by doubling down and keeping Zelensky in power and sending our troops, and then through this peace process, we get greater militarism and potentially greater war. I mean, that's a possibility. It's not so clear either from the American side, I should say, too, because
the EU do not have enough weapons to do something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, now you're getting into, exactly. But what stopped them the last 3 years? I mean, so, right, war romanticism and militarism and everything else. But no, certainly, right.
I mean, Africa kicked the French's butts. The French are out of Africa now.
Well, the French lost their empire. The neo-French empire, right? The post-colonial French empire that still existed in Africa is gone. And that evaporated in 18 months' time, maybe? Did it take even that long for all French troops to be, out of 5 different countries, I think it was?
Right. I want to also make the point, Latin America now has a much more,
region.
In general, independent foreign policy than the EU, which the EU has been under the control of the United States. But now with Trump differing policies from Biden on Ukraine, we'll see how that works out. But also all this talk of Trump being a great deal maker. I mean, he didn't even write his own book, Art of the Deal. You know what I mean? He might be more diplomatic than Biden, but that's not really difficult to be, right?
Well, that's the fear I have, Alex, is that if you look at the people who are around Trump up until January 20th or election day, say, the people that are around Trump were all in favor